Hi, welcome to Pyrography Made Easy. I'm Brenda. In this tutorial episode, I'm going to explain how to create the Holly Candle Christmas postcard artwork. During the tutorial, there will be terms I use like pull-away strokes. If you are unfamiliar with my terminology, in the comments below I will put a link to a tutorial that explains them. On my website there is a written tutorial and a free pattern for this artwork. I will put a link to that article in the description below too. The first thing we will work on are the holly leaves. I had a slight gremlin infestation, so most of the first leaf didn't get videotaped. The same steps apply to each leaf, so I'll explain the second leaf and you'll be able to easily apply what I explain to the first leaf. Well, let's get to work. Begin by using the razor edge of the shader to darkly burn along the vein lines. Then carefully avoid burning the holly berries at the base of the leaf. Next, use pull-away strokes to burn along the vein line on the upper half of the leaf. Start the stroke on the vein and pull it towards the outer edge of the leaf. Stop the stroke just a little past the halfway mark. To get smooth gradient color, slightly overlap the strokes and, if needed, re-burn over the area to darken it up. It is easier to burn by pulling the pen towards you, so try rotating the wood to see if you like burning that way better. The next step is to burn pull-away strokes along the upper edge of the leaf. Use the razor edge of the shader to burn along the upper edge of the leaf. Then burn pull-away strokes, but make sure they are paler in color than the strokes burned along the vein. With the bottom half of the leaf, burn a dark line along the outer edge. Then burn short pull-away strokes along the outer edge. Now burn pull-away strokes along the center vein for the two sections done so far on the leaf. Repeat the steps on the next section of leaf. Keep in mind that you can burn in the leaf a section at a time as I'm doing right now, or you can burn all of the pull-away strokes along the lower edge and then burn them along the center vein. Either method will produce great results. I will mention again that you may find it easier to burn pull-away strokes when you are pulling the pen towards you. I recommend experimenting and discovering what works best for you. Repeat the same steps on the last leaf. You have probably noticed that I have made the upper half of the leaves darker than the lower half. This was because I had envisioned the upper half being in shadows and the lower half reflecting light from the candle. You can do the same thing I did, or you can burn both halves of the leaves so they are the same. Either way, the leaves will look good. With the last leaf, I'm burning pull-away strokes all along the center vein. Then I rotate the wood and burn pull-away strokes all along the lower outer edge of the leaf. Hopefully you noticed that I changed the order of the steps as I burned in each leaf. My goal was to show you that the order the steps are done in is not important. You will still get the same results regardless of which order you do the steps. Lastly, I reburned along the highlight to darken it up slightly. Burn around the edges of the holly berries. Then darken up the berries, leaving the spot by the dot the palest area on them. Repeatedly burn over the berries to build up the color. Also, make the lower half of the berry darker than the top. Use a writer pen tip to reburn the dot on each berry. If needed, burn around the edges of the berries to give them better definition. Use the shader of your choice to burn in the side of the candle. The goal is to create a uniform dark tan color. I used uniform strokes to do this, but if you have another burn method you prefer, then go for it. Burn in the lower portion of the candle. Reburn the candle as needed to get the color fairly uniform. Burn a dark shadow line under the wax drippings. Extend the shadows a little ways from the drippings. Burn in the wax drippings. Make the top edge of the drippings much lighter than the bottom. Also, the drippings should be very light near the flame and darker the further away from it. I used a combination of circular motion and uniform strokes to burn in the drippings. I used circular motion mostly along the edges of the drippings to darken them up and provide a little gradient shading. Uniform strokes were used to fill in the rest of the drippings, especially along the top of the drippings where smooth uniform color was needed. Burn along the right edge of the candle wick. Rotate the board and burn along the left edge of the wick. Then fill in the wick to a dark brown color at the base. Fade that color to brown near the top. Burn short tan lines that vary in length along the bottom of the flame. Then burn the rest of the flame to a tan color. Make it just dark enough to be easily seen from the unburned background. Use the shader of your choice to burn uniform strokes on the background. Try to make it uniform in color. The wood I'm using is not high quality, so this is actually pretty difficult. If you're using a similar wood, don't be surprised if you find this very difficult to do. The goal is to make the background dark enough that the glow around the flame is easily visible. The last thing to do is to darkly burn along the edges of the wood to give the postcard a nice finished look to it. That's it, we are all done. I hope you found the tutorial informative and easy to follow along. In the remarks below, I provided a link to my website, Pyrography Made Easy. The website has the written tutorial and a free pattern for this artwork. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and see you next week.